Like everything that he would teach on the permaculture course, the Israelis would argue with him. Like everything. And he was getting like, and he's got like 72 hours. He's got 2 weeks to finish all the material. And so all the time Israelis argue with him, and so he's always going off time. Like he's expecting the Israelis just to sit and listen and to absorb all this information so they can get the certificate in the end. At one stage he walked out of the class, like he just took his thing, slammed up, then just walked out. Like, not much. But at the very end of the course, what do you think he said at the end of the course?
Just fucking do it.
In the end, do you remember, permaculture is 80% design, 20% maintenance. Not like regular design, which is 20% maintenance, is 80% maintenance, 20% design, because you got it the wrong way around. So in the end, you can only write things down on paper so long. You can only observe for a year, all of this stuff. In the end, you just really need to just do it. Just fucking do it. And he's absolutely right. If you don't do anything, you won't make any mistakes and you won't learn from your mistakes. So like Bill Mollison said, we like to make mistakes. And that way we know what does work and what doesn't work. So I really hope that our month together has taught you that, just sow a seed, just mix up the mud, try and put it on, see what happens, and just experiment and have fun in the end. And of course, don't worry.
Be happy.
So what can you do after the permaculture design certificate? You can't do the diploma. That's the next stage. I kind of say even a monkey can get what you guys are getting today, the PDC. But the diploma, that's what Tess is working on. Adar did her diploma. Rotem did her diploma. I got my diploma many years ago. It's basically a 2-year course, but it's not a course. You don't have to go anywhere. You just carry on with your regular life. And during the 2 years, you're going on a process. You have a mentor, you have a teacher. And normally like 5, 10, 15 people go through the process at the same time in Israel or in America or in a certain area, depending where you're doing it. And basically, you're designing 10 designs from start to finish. Some of the designs, you're really making them. And you're kind of with your peers, with your fellow students, you're learning as you're going along. You're exchanging designs and ideas. You have formal meetings. I mean, once upon a time, you'd get together every month. Now it's done, on Zoom, and now often maybe there'll be one person in like the very beginning and the very end. You actually see everyone. After that, often it's just by Zoom. It depends. Things are changing. It's not like how things used to be done.
Do you have to find the projects, or they help us?
It's normally part of your life. You're basically, how do you integrate permaculture in your life? A 2-year time span. And you basically, your mentor is helping you along. The other students are doing their thing. So where you're working at the time, how can you make your workplace more permaculture? So it could be all sorts of things. It could be, of course, your garden, but you're also doing creative things which you wouldn't normally think of as being. Remember, you can be a permaculture lawyer, you can be a doctor. Anything you do in life can be connected to permaculture. It's not just doing your spiral garden and everything. So this is worth checking out. Of course, it does cost money, but you don't have to go somewhere to study it. It can still be integrated in your everyday life. It's a kind of a gushbanka. It's kind of like the next stage to really go in. But there's loads of books today. Also, I do advise maybe doing another permaculture design certificate, but somewhere else. Because every permaculture design certificate, we teach the same things, but there's different nuances. There's different things, like some are a little bit more heavy on this side. So if it's a different climate or something like that, the best thing is to try and be a helper on another course, because that way you don't have to pay for it again, And that's very normal to have a few helpers coming in and they're arranging the classroom, they're helping to organize all the tools, when you're doing the practical stuff.
They also can be in the classes?
Yeah, of course. Normally you're sitting in the classes as well. It's a cool way. Everyone, some of you have heard of Wolfing, willing workers on organic farms. Now they call it something different. When I did it, it was called Willing Workers on Organic Farms. I did it in New Zealand, in quite a few places. It's a great way of volunteering and working in organic farms. The same organic farms are maybe doing mud work as well. Check out the library and see where you're going. It's a great way to get more expertise, more knowledge. Yeah, you really need to just carry on. This is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning that we're doing now in our 1 month Green Apprenticeship. The Green Apprenticeship really just carries on for the rest of your life. Just carry on playing. There's organizations, Builders Without Borders, local local community gardens. Local community gardens, they're going to want a mud bench. They're going to want a fire pit or something, or a taboon, a traditional mud oven. So there's other people there, like they're like-minded people. They're great things to get connected to, and maybe you just didn't even know they existed in where you like in Tel Aviv. There's millions of them. There's hundreds of community gardens. In Jerusalem, there's hundreds of them as well. There's tens of them, for sure. Connect to local permaculture, transition town groups, or start your own group. Yeah, organize it. Now, there's this thing called culture shock. You know what this means, yeah? Culture shock. You're going to go back home next week or to the next place, and you're going to talk to your friend or your mum or dad about what you've done. You're going to talk about permaculture principles and the 3 ethics, and they're going to like their eyes are like Anna. They're going to kind of start falling asleep. Yeah, they're going to, because you're just going to bore them to tears with all this permaculture stuff. Like, what are they talking about? I don't understand it. Whatever. There's 2 things you can do to help stop culture. First of all, you can send your best friends, mum, dad, even people you don't like. If you don't like your boss at work, so send them to do the next Green Apprenticeship. You can get rid of them for a month, a whole month you can get rid of them. But then you're going to have safa meshutefet. You're going to have the same words, the same understanding of permaculture. If you meet someone else who's done a permaculture course anywhere in the world, you're instantly connected because it's basically the same kind of way of thinking, the same word. Yeah, the edge effect, brother, the edge effect. Yeah, they're going to know what you're talking about. Man, yeah. But seriously, be a little bit careful. You're going home again. You're going to you won't really have anyone to talk to unless you do have your own people. Your own, if you're totally on your own, you've turned a little bit more eco-freako and you're still among your regular friends. You're going to feel a little bit depressed. You're going to feel a little bit lonely. So try and connect with some sort of group or something like that. And I want to show you this really short TED talk, which is going to help you with culture shock, I think. בסדר? And then that's it, finito. Yalla, bye. Lunchtime. Remembering that it's a short lunch, so no siesta for you.
Short lunch?
Because
We're
it's
back
not
here at
2
2
hours, it's
o'clock.
only 1 hour.
Really?
Not 3 o'clock.
Why?
No siesta for you.
No, I need a shower. I need to
you-
do
Takeaway, so I have takeaway.
Ma?
Okay.
We need to finish the final closed circle because there's a big dance party tonight.